your engagement, right? That was an engagement celebration, or what would you call it?
So it was more of like a hen do, a bachelorette party. I got engaged literally a little over a year ago now, and getting married soon. So my friends were just like, and my sister were like, we need to go. Just the girls have a few, nights away and just have fun and share a little bit about married life with me.
How's that feeling though? Because I mean, I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
I'm sure some people from my audience also maybe they're not there yet. But how's that feeling? Like just transition of knowing that a few years ago you're probably like focused on maybe your influencer work and stuff, and then now you're also like now focusing on marriage. Like that's a huge leap for anybody who knows about adulting. That's like the biggest step that people are always looking forward to.
I think so. A lot of things happened last year. Obviously, this is being like one of the biggest things that happened, but as well as the shift for me in terms of my career. So I was working full time until last year, and I think like the month of November was actually like that pivotal month for me. So not only in terms of getting engaged, but also that was when I resigned and I said, fuck employment. Sorry about my language, but literally okay. I was like, I'm done. Some people are not made for employment, and that's fine. I think the universe was nudging me all the years to do what I'm really passionate about, and finally shoved me to make that move. So that literally, so I resigned, and that was that. The same week, got engaged to, obviously the love of my life, but he's a lot more than that. So yeah, like I said, it was that pivotal month. A lot of it was just pushing me in the direction that I needed to be. And I really believe in the universe and the power of the energy in the universe. And I think that was the energy of November last year for me. So yeah, going back to what you were asking me about, married life and that transition, I think it's like everything. It's exciting. You're nervous about a few aspects. It's something to look forward to, but you're also like, I don't know how it's going to play out. Let's see.
But I think what, and this is just my thoughts, I think maybe once you've dated someone like for long, like it's an easier process because this is like your best friend.
Definitely.
Of course, you're just doing like maybe official paperwork and the ring and everything, but this is already somebody that you already used to hang out, talk about everything about each other.
Exactly.
So I think, and how long have you guys dated?
Like 5 years almost, yeah.
5 years.
So I think, like you hit it, like you hit the nail on the head. I think all in all, it's super exciting. You get to do life with this person that you love, but you also see eye to eye with. We've dated for quite a while. So that definitely, there's that confidence of like, it's just going to be a lot of fun. You know, it's like living with your best friend.
Yeah, have you thought about, because now also, of course, in marriage, I always ask this question, like, do you have like that discussion about like kids, how many kids we want? I mean, no, or that's not something that you've discussed yet.
So we've not discussed like how many kids we want.
And do you want kids, first of all?
Yeah, so we've discussed that.
Yeah.
About do you want kids and like, if so, when-ish, we've had that conversation. Yeah. So yes, I do want kids if everything aligns. Yeah. But it's also, I think we live in an era where things are not hard and fast, and I think we're so open-minded and we understand like sometimes like you really want something, but for whatever reason it's not happening, but there's so many other ways to make it happen. So for now, open mind. And we'll see. The universe will just give me what I need.
And everyone around me, like so many people I know, like just my friends are getting like married, engaged and everything. Yeah. And here I am just being reminded that, you know what, this lone wolf needs to, figure it out as well. But, I respect and I really do look up to people who like just have like, those marriage unions, strong relationships, because they're setting a good example, especially in this generation where a lot of people are not sure about like even marriage or anything. So I respect that.
Yeah, I think like so I was having a conversation with someone and they really reminded me like marriage it's everything that the movies show you and also everything that they don't show you. The movies and the books, and so it's a lot of work as well, you know. And that's something that
you need to explain. For me, I don't know.
I've been reminding myself of, and having said that, it's something that a lot of people look at from the outside, and you're like, oh my God, I'd want that, but not thinking about what goes into having like a successful marriage. I mean, I'm not married yet, but it's
even
something
relationship
that
before
I've been
that
thinking about. Exactly. So, I mean, even conversations that I have with like friends and family, I'm like, never rush into it. Like, you'd rather not be in that situation when it's a bad one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's just something to think about. And I think in our community now that conversation is changing.
Okay. Are you planning on those? Because I know Indian weddings do you guys do them for a week?
Yeah.
So it's going to be the full week thing?
Yeah.
What?
I'm a person that's 0 to 100. So when we decided on the Indian wedding, I was like, there's no in between. Yeah. We're going all out.
I respect that. And then now, like even just, we can come back to that because you said you made that decision kind of, or like a lot of things happened like after you quit your work. What exactly were you doing like maybe full-time for the 8 to 5?
So I was still head of marketing. So it was still quite like not very different from what I'm doing right now. And I think it really helps me that I understand like the brand and marketing world with what I'm doing right now. So that's what I was doing full time. I was working for, again, a global company, and I was head of the department. I was the youngest in the core team, which was great, but it also came with its challenges, you know, being the youngest in a core team for a company like that, and then being a person of color, female. But having said that, again, it wasn't one of those things it wasn't that factor, that aspect that, you know, pushed me to be like, I'm resigning. It was one of...
because who's resigning in this economy? I'm like, what are you talking about? Yeah.
Yeah, but so it was a very, I think, also... Like I said, the universe was nudging, and then pushed me. So obviously things happened that weren't pleasant. But at the same time, for me, at the back of my mind, I had told myself, if it doesn't work out this time, maybe it's not meant for me.
Yeah.
And because of that, I had prepared myself for either outcome. So I'd written down a list of you know, fears or things that were bothering me and why I wasn't, if it came to that, why I wouldn't be able to just say, you know, employment is not for me, I'm going to go do my own thing. So I wrote down a list of those fears. And this had been on my mind for a long time. Yeah. I just hadn't sat down with it. So I think it was that difference. The minute you sit down with your feelings and, you know, where your head is at and really think about it and take it in. Yeah. It makes that big push and like big difference. So I sat down with it, wrote down what was stopping me from taking that
leap
step.
Of faith, kind of.
Exactly. And then I said, okay, after a few days, I went back to that list and I was like, okay, now I know this is why I'm not able to do this, right? And I also had like that sense of security of like, I have a job and I'm doing well and like, it's okay, you know? And I was like, no, just think about like your why. Like, what is my why? And am I actually fulfilling it? So that happened. And now fast forward to like a week or 10 days later, I sat down with both those things that I'd written down. I think when you write it down, for someone like me, when I write it down,
I love doing that as well in a notebook. And that's one of the things that I really
Yeah, it seems more notebooks. Concrete then.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, it's here, you know? So I sat down with those two things and I was like, okay, I need to make a plan. So like, these are my fears. What am I doing about them? Like, what am I doing to make this better for me if that situation arises, which now we know it did arise. So one of those things was having a stable income, for example. So I said, I'm going to sit down, make a plan. Like, what can I do to get that passive income? So if this job goes away, I'm still okay.
Yeah.
And I can still figure it out, and I don't need to rush into, you know, like another job. And if I don't want to do employment, then I can say I'm not doing employment. Yeah. So I did that. I sat down and I said, okay, this is how much I'm making. How much have I saved? How much am I able to save? And let's create that passive income. Yeah. So that's just one example. So the list wasn't very long, but I think it was deep.
Concrete.
Yeah. So then fast forward, this was like months before November. November came and, you know, the universe shoved me in the direction I needed to be shoved in because I wasn't taking the hints the universe was giving me. And I was at a better mental space, better emotional space, better financial space to be able to be like, it's all right, this is not for me. Make peace with it, and we move.
And I think a lot of people, it's when you're talking about it this way, when somebody's sat like on a desk and they're doing that 8 to 5, at times it's like so hard for them to register. Like, how can somebody like just do something like that? But even for my case, I can just say, like, honestly speaking, you have no idea what you're capable of until you push yourself to those limits.
Exactly.
And then you're like, oh, so I can actually survive doing this. Yeah. So I just needed this financial strategy and I can actually still be okay and just maintain everything that I'm doing. So, I mean, we're not saying that you quit, but trust me, like at times if you're in a space where you feel you're not happy, you just have to try.
Yeah, 100%.
You just have to try. Yeah. I mean, what's the worst that can happen?
And it's not even what's the worst that can happen. I think we're so like, I don't know if it's like our schooling system that's really like programmed to think that, you know, whenever someone says, I'm so stuck in the situation, I'm like, but are you?
Are you
actually stuck in the situation? And like, if you do feel stuck, like, I think it's just like, just take that step back. Yeah. Okay, like, this is how I feel. What are we doing about it?
Yeah.
What are we doing to change that? If you're not doing anything to change that, then you are stuck. Not stuck because of circumstances and whatever, stuck by choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see, I always also talk about like